Minasan konbanwa. Kinniku ninja. Ash desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Hey everybody, it's been a long time since I've done one of these videos. And if you've watched my 18-month all Japanese all the time, or MIA as it's called these days, approach update, yeah, not much has changed really. But lots of people have been asking through a 3 years. Sounds crazy, isn't it? 3 years I've been doing this all day, every day. It's quite a mind-blowing thing, yeah. If you watch my 18-month progress video, not much has changed really. Since then, well, my YouTube channel has had a rebrand. It used to be focused completely on Ninja Warrior UK, but now it's sort of focused on myself, my own fitness journey, hence the Kinniku Ninja rebrand and the logo. And yeah, I thought rather than having fitness on one hand and Japanese learning on the other, I thought I'd just combine them together and make videos that please me, really. So yeah, I've had a bit of a rebrand. I can read books quite freely. I can play video games in Japanese, watch TV shows and movies with very little difficulty. I can freely converse in Japanese, which is something that a lot of people ask me, oh, how is it when you're speaking and that sort of thing. Yeah, I can have some pretty decent conversations. I can read random words like violent outer space symphony and all sort of stuff that you never expect to come up in the wild, but yeah, I can read them. Yeah, most importantly, I've combined my hobbies together and started making videos for a Japanese audience, speaking Japanese the whole time, which is brilliant. Yeah, I'm quite happy with my progress so far. I'm not saying that my output's perfect. It's not, and it's not that every day goes without some sort of mistake. Far from it. And there's failures from when I've been watching TV, or sometimes something will go by and I've completely not understood a single word that's gone on screen. But am I bothered? Not in the slightest. Yeah, my pronunciation is yet to meet anywhere near native level, but I've yet to meet a foreigner in my country that speaks English that's near native level, and that's fine. But it seems to be, I don't know, it's like the go-to insult amongst the Japanese learning community. Like, oh wow, you just read that whole novel in Japanese by yourself and didn't make any mistakes. Well, that's fine, but you don't sound anything like you were born in Kumamoto, so 2 out of 10 for me. Yeah, it's just not nice, man. It's just not nice. Speaking of reading, as you'll see, those of you who have watched my Jurassic Park video, where I read part of the novel, yeah, I still make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes recall can be a little bit slow. Again, it's it's difficult to read aloud, and it's even harder to read aloud through a viewfinder, especially when you've got a large audience. So if you think it's easy, try it. See how you feel. Yeah, I still make a lot of mistakes, as you can see. Recall's pretty slow. But I've not dedicated a lot of my time to this. This is my notebook, because I've got terrible memory. Thought I best make sure I share everything with you. Yeah, I've not spent a lot of time dedicating myself to reading books really. I'm more just playing video games and doing fun things. But it works for me, so I'm happy with that. In fact, there was a good, you're probably not going to like me for saying this, there was a good 3 months last year where I didn't do any sort of real studying whatsoever. I kept up with my Anki most days. And my phone's still in Japanese, and I've been not speaking to Japanese friends or whatever, stuff like that. But I didn't do any active studying whilst I was training for Ninja Warrior Switzerland. So some days I'd have, I don't know, 30 minutes in the morning training, and then an hour and a half in the evening, and then another half an hour later on. And as well as, a full-time job where I'm working 16, 18-hour work days. It's just, as well as being, a father and a husband and all that sort of thing. Some days I still did my Anki reps, but I set my new cards to 0, so I didn't have too much to take on board all at once. And that's fine. Speaking of Anki, I've got over 900 that's terrible, 9,000 sentence cards now. It's a lot of words. Heck of a lot of words there to remember, but yeah, probably could have been more if I'd have updated my Anki more regularly, but like I said, I've had a busy life. The hardest part of it for me is tracking progress. Like, since my 1.5 year update, I really didn't think I progressed that much, I was still playing video games, but thinking of that. Back then, I would have to look up a fair few words, but having finished Pokemon Sword, I think I looked up like 7 words throughout the whole game, which isn't bad at all. But yeah, the AJATT community went wild when I updated my Jurassic Park video, saying that I was doing really, really well, and they couldn't believe that I could read all these difficult words and stuff like that, which just rolls straight off the tongue. So yeah, I guess I'm just being hard on myself. One question I often get is, what are my RTK stats? I'm not really bothered about RTK now. Sometimes I'll sort of skim over it, sometimes I won't really bother. And the reason being is because a kanji would appear, and I'd remember every single reading for that kanji, but for the life of me, I could not remember the keyword that I was supposed to remember for the RTK deck, so that's why I sacked it off. It was much easier to try and remember kanji in the context of a sentence. And that's a question people ask me as well. How do I remember the readings of kanji? And that's just, I remember them as individual words, especially like compound kanji. And there's 2 different kanji together that make one new word. I tend to remember them as a compound themselves, or as a word themselves, rather than having to remember them individually, or remember all the onyomi readings and all the kunyomi readings. Like, I get asked all the time, what are all the kunyomi readings for this kanji? I have no idea. Not a clue in the slightest. I just don't think it's important, really. Maybe it could be, who knows, but I've not really found an issue with it. As long as I can read that word aloud in a sentence, I'm happy with that. What else have I got on my notes? Yeah, just try and make each day better than yesterday. That's the key takeaway from watching this. Just go and immerse as much as you can, and immerse doing the things that you love. People say, how much time have I spent immersing? I'm not going to tell you how much time I spend immersing. Some days it's nothing at all, and some days it's all day every day because I've spent 8 hours on the sofa playing Pokemon on a lucky day, If you start having to track how much fun you're having, it stops being fun, right? I can't be the only person that thinks that. Kanji readings. What else have I got? Any more questions? Well, those of you that subscribe to this channel know that I'm very active on YouTube, so if you do have any questions about learning Japanese or Ninja Warrior or training or anything like that, if you leave me a comment, I'll get back to you. Oh, that's one thing I did want to mention. Yeah, if you do come across a word, you can never underestimate the value of a word. You never know when it's going to come across, or when you're going to come across it. And the example here is the word kohaku, which is amber. I learned this word while playing Pokemon, obviously. People are going to think I'm some sort of crazy Pokemon nerd. I'm really not. It's just one thing I've always liked to do for fun. I'm a fitness nerd, if anything else. So yeah, the kohaku came up as in the old amber that you used to, what's the word? I'm not thinking, what's the word? I'm forgetting English words now. Revive the Aerodactyl. Revive Aerodactyl. And yeah, I could read the word kohaku straight away when I found it in Jurassic Park, It's a really important word to that series, and it just came straight off the tongue, and I impressed myself with that moment. So yeah, don't get too hung up on pronunciation. Just enjoy yourself and have fun. Language is for communication at the end of the day, and if you can't communicate with people and you can't enjoy yourself because you're too worried about what other people think, right? If you make a mistake, if I make a mistake, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother the Japanese person who I'm speaking to. The only people it bothers are the other people that are learning Japanese. Think about that for a minute. Otherwise, have fun. Leave a comment if you need a question. I'll try and get back to you. Otherwise, peace out.